Hello and welcome to the garden. It is an absolutely beautiful day out here, already getting warm, so I'm going to open the unheated greenhouse quick before I do anything else so that all the little tomato seedlings and pepper seedlings and all the other summer plants are happy, because I'm sure it's already getting pretty hot in there. It is a toasty 100 degrees in this greenhouse, but everything looks like it's doing good. I may just give it a little bit of water, but everything is looking nice, happy and warm. I had a couple herbs die, but they were already kind of dying before I brought them out here, so not totally surprised to see that. But the tomatoes are looking okay. Everything's looking pretty nice. It's been really nice to have these guys out of the house and let them kind of start adjusting to the outdoor temperature. I'm going to keep letting them get a little bit bigger because we are still pretty early, but honestly, even though we're not technically past the last frost date, there is not a single bit of frost that I can see anywhere in the extended forecast. So I mean, I think I honestly probably could plant them out, but there are still a couple more days where it's like 35 degrees Fahrenheit, so not totally gonna go crazy yet and plant them. I'll give it a little bit more time, just make sure we're extra safe. Before I water all of those in, I'm going to start a few seeds. So I thought I would go through with you. These are some of my zinnias. I've still made direct sow some zinnias in the actual soil, but I thought I would just sow a few in seed trays just to have them, you know, I've talked about this a lot, just have them be safe from the slugs and the weather and all of the other things. Just give myself a little extra security. And there's something really nice about planting out starts. I like to do that. So I am going to go ahead and get those guys started just in one of my little plug trays. I do expect to plant them out pretty much as soon as they've got a couple sets of true leaves. So I'm going to use a really small plug tray, and that way I can also start a lot of things, which is kind of nice too. All right, so let's talk through the seeds we are starting today. Zinnias are some of my favorite flowers to plant in the garden. They're just such an easy plant to direct sow. So if you don't want to do this seed starting step, they are a good one to direct sow as well. So that is definitely an option. But you can start them in seed cells if you want to. That totally works as well. But they're just really beautiful. The pollinators love them. I've actually started a lot of them in like July in the garden because they come up pretty quick. And when it's really hot out, they'll come up and start blooming in like 4 to 6 weeks, depending a little bit on the variety. But they're just a really kind of easy, quick, fun beginner plant too. If you're just getting started, a really good one. There are so many different colors as well, so you can basically get a zinnia to match just about any kind of garden style that you have. So I am doing all of my apricot color tones. I am all into having the peaches and the apricots and the really antique sort of colors. And so I looked for the Queenie series. So most of the queen, like you'll see like Queen Lime this, Queen Lime that, Queenie this. All of those tend to have a bit more of the like antique look. They have the softer, more muted tones. You can get like true like canary bird zinnias are like a bright yellow, so you can get like those true really vibrant yellow colors if you want. I have done some of like the really hot pink zinnias in the past and loved them. I always love a hot pink flower. I think that's just always so fun. But this year I'm going for the more muted tones. So I have, just a second, my cat's trying to escape. It's such a beautiful day that I have the door to my house cracked, so the cats are trying to sneak out of it. Anyways, the first one that I have is this beautiful Queen Lemon Peach. I thought that was a really pretty, perfect sort of apricot antique color zinnia. These will get pretty large, 2 to 4 inch flowers. They bloom all summer long. This is an all American selection, and just really the colors, I guess, kind of fade as they age, and they also get a little bit more of that antique kind of rich look. So that's nice too. There's a whole progression with zinnias. I think they're one of the most beautiful flowers from bud all the way up until they're flowering, because they have like these really pretty intricate little buds, that are just really beautiful. So that's gonna be this one. And then another sort of peachy apricot-y tone is the Cinderella Peach. Now the Cinderella type zinnias can have those little like cupcake top kind of looks. I have had mixed luck though. It's not guaranteed that they're gonna make that cupcake fluff on the top. So I have done like the Cinderella lilacs, and they just looked like normal kind of single lilac colored zinnias. They were still beautiful, they were still really nice, and this peach color is still going to be gorgeous. But hopefully if I get it enough like sun and space and all the things that it really needs, it'll actually form like that Cinderella-y kind of look. That's my goal. I would really love this year to actually be able to get the cupcake style and have just that, because it's so fun and kind of special and a little bit different than some of your more traditional zinnias, which are just, they are sometimes multiples or sometimes singles. They just have like the more traditional zinnia look. This is going to be fluffy and really beautiful. Then we have another queen lime one. Here we go, queen lime orange. So sort of like orange tones, but a very muted orange. So not anything, you know, not of the bright sort of punchy orange. This is going to be the softer, more muted, rusty kind of orange, which will be a beautiful addition, fitting all the look. And then also a queen lime red, so similar, a red but not that punchy red, that toned down, muted, rusty red. And then all the queen lime with the lime tend to have like a little bit of like green tones thrown in too, so that'll be beautiful. And these are all, the details aren't on here, but I do believe these are all pretty big plants, so these are all going to be like full size 2 to 3 feet tall zinnia plants is what I'm expecting. I am going to plant them fairly close together, just because my garden's tiny. Everything gets planted close together. I never give everything like the true amount of space that it needs. So the flowers may be a little bit smaller than they would if I gave them a ton of room. That's what I find happens with zinnias. If you plant them close together, they'll still get pretty tall in height, especially because in my garden, they're also going to be reaching for the sun a little bit, but they'll probably have slightly smaller flowers than they would maybe if I planted like one in its own square foot and let it branch and get huge. Then we're also going to do some more basil, because I just, you know, have to have basil everywhere. So this is a really pretty purple ruffles basil. Isn't that fun? It almost looks like a coleus with the ruffles like that. I'm going to be interested to see what it looks like in person. It tends to be more heat tolerant though as well than other basil varieties, and we get pretty hot here, so it's a little bit less likely to bolt, it says, which would be nice. Everything bolts pretty quickly, as you can, you know, could see from my other videos. Like my collard greens are already bolting, and we just are not even barely past my last frost. So this should help. But you can eat it like a sweet basil, like a Genovese basil, but you can also, you know, I'm going to use it mostly decorative. I kind of don't mind if it flowers a little bit, although the foliage is so beautiful that maybe I'll just sort of grow it for that really pretty jagged purple. Leaves are jagged with deep purple with slight green tinge, making them a showstopper. So I like that. It's like coleus you can eat, basically. And then the last thing I have are some Sunfinity hybrid sunflower seeds. These were kind of like a little splurge seed purchase to see how this goes. You know, you see the Sunfinity sunflowers in the garden centers. Typically for me to get like the quart size one, it's like a $15 plant, but they're a big branching sunflower. So these will get about 4 feet tall. They'll branch out and have lots of those cute little traditional sunflower looking flowers. Very beautiful plant, very cute, very fun, perfect for this cottage garden look that I have going on this year. So I thought I would just try it. I got like, these are the hybrid, you know, seeds that I'm sure the growers, same kind of thing as the growers get. So they were a bit more expensive per seed, but yeah, we're just gonna plant them and see what happens. So I just have this little cell tray. I'm gonna do these plugs in here and then hopefully plant them out really quickly once I get them growing. So I am gonna make, let's see, I'm gonna make a note on here right now, the order in which, 4, 5, 6, let's see, 5, 6, okay. I'm gonna make just a note with this video of the order in which I am planting the seeds so that I know. You can use plant tags, but you can also do something like this. Here's our order. Zinnias, I can come back and reference this video and I'll know which row, and I'm just going to do a whole row of 10 for each of them to keep things simple. I don't really have anything else that I want to start ahead. The rest of the things, if I haven't gotten them started now, I'm going to just direct sow them. So this is my record. Yeah, I highly recommend, using seed tags labels is good, and it is important to make some kind of note, but I don't know, sometimes I get kind of like sick of using the plastic, and then I lose the tags anyways, or they're just floating around. I end up pulling them out of my garden. They just end up in my garden beds, and I'm pulling them out of my garden all the time, and like, which plant did this even go to? So part of why I started making content was literally as a garden journal, and I do use this as my garden journal. If I want to know when I planted something, I go back to the video. If I want to know what order I planted things, I often do just kind of look at the video. So this is real time how I'm doing this. And I just picked them all up. Okay, now I need to keep them in order. Okay, I'm gonna get it set up. I'm just gonna fill this with soil and just plant these in. Nothing fancy about that. Okay, so I just got those all planted. I'm about to water them in, but then I took 2 of the Sunfinity seeds, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna stick 1 in each garden bed where I want them to be, and we're just gonna see how they do being direct sown. Hopefully nothing eats them, hopefully they do okay, but I kind of just want to see if they do. I mean, typically with sunflowers, I do direct sow them. I only had like 6 seeds, so I started 4 in the tray, and then I figured, you know what, let's just stick them in the ground and kind of see what happens, and maybe, it might be better for them, so let's just do that. So I'll show you where they're gonna go. So here we go. Let's put one right here. There we go, little seed. And I have to pull out these collard greens, but we'll put one here and keep an eye. Hopefully those grow well. Yeah, the collards are beautiful, but they've started to bolt now, so I better pull them out. But there's something nice and green, so I'm gonna leave them. I think next week I'll probably plant squash into here, so I'll leave them for the next week. I do need to go get some Sluggo Plus or something to make sure the slugs don't eat these seedlings. But anyways, let's water everything in, and I will give a little hit of water in the containers too, because you can see it's hot out here. Everything's kind of flagging just a little bit. Well, it is exciting to have some of those things planted and yeah, ready to go hopefully soon. I'm just gonna pop this tray into the unheated greenhouse so that they have a little bit of protection while the seedlings get started, and we will be all set. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.